Today is January 5th of the new year, 2014. You remember that we interviewed Priti Ghosh on her paintings the last time. Today we have Priti and Smriti to talk about their remembrances of the early years of the ashram.
Good morning,
So
Nara.
Smriti is with us and Priti is with us, and we're going to hear their remembrances of. So, this is Smriti and Priti, two sisters who have been in the ashram for many, many years. What is your first memory of the ashram, and how old were you when you came?
I don't remember.
You were 9.
I was 9 years old. I came with my grandparents.
Where did you stay?
I stayed at home with my mother, my sister, and my aunt.
And grandparents.
And
Grandparents.
grandparents.
That was in Muttumari Amma Street. Quite a distance from the ashram in those times, but now it seems to be very
Yeah.
close.
Uh-huh. And how old were you?
I was 4.
4. What is your first memory of mother? First memory of mother at that age.
Can't describe. It's so beautiful and so wonderful. Oh, really very, very nice.
Did mother speak to you?
Oh yes. Speak, yes. We talked to her, we sang with her, we danced with her.
First meeting.
Huh?
Do you remember the first meeting?
No, I don't remember the first meeting.
What is your first memory?
I also don't quite remember.
But you were very young.
Yes.
She was only 4, no?
Yeah, not yet, I think 10 for anyway. So, I remember mother used to come to the meditation hall, and somehow I had a feeling that she used to sit on a low chair. But Ma said no. She used to sit on the high chair. And then, that day it had rained. That was my first memory of the mother. It had rained, and I think the water had seeped into the hall. So my mother and Beladi and we 3 went to the mother, and there was, I think there was nobody around. And it so happened I was carrying a small basket, and there were flowers in it, and before nearing mother I slipped.
Oh!
So then the flowers were again collected in that small basket and actually given to her. So that, that gentle figure of a lady, I still naturally couldn't, how should I say,
Describe.
describe her, but she was sitting in that chair that was very, very vivid, and it has remained impressed on the mind.
So, that's your first memory of mother. And I remember once you told me what your mother had told you, what Ma had told you about not leaving the ashram. Could you tell us that?
That was, I think, when I turned a teenager, and naturally, children of that age, they are very, very distracted and have lots of dreams and ambitions. And I had an uncle who was an artist in his own right. And when he saw that I could paint, he pushed me on saying that, look here, go to Japan and fulfill your dreams to become an artist. And I danced at the idea naturally. Then my mother was very firm about it. She said, never leave this place because once you do that, your mind will be diverted and you'll never be able to again concentrate on this life, the purpose for which you have come here. And then she gave a very earthly metaphor. She said, if one of the tooth is, loose, and you extract it, the other teeth also will get loosened. And so the same thing. If you once you step out of this place, beware.
So let's talk about the work that you did in the ashram, both of you. I know you were a fine singer, and
I love children.
you love children.
First love.
First love is children.
Yeah.
I see. What did you teach?
French.
Have to look at the camera. You taught French.
I
For how
taught-
many years?
Many years. Many years. Nada.
Actually, mother gave you the
Work.
work to help Gauriji.
Oh.
There was no kindergarten at that time. There was the Lafon where children of the level of kindergarten were taught.
Ah, yeah.
Mm.
Small
And
kids.
so you taught the small ones. And
They're
still,
very interesting.
tell us a little bit about your experiences as a teacher.
Teacher, I mean, you really have to be very tough because you need lot of energy to be with the children and to play with the children. It was really very tough. And you have to use lot of your energy. It's very difficult.
But you enjoyed it.
We loved the children. The children also loved us. So we really enjoyed.
And her pet was Shantikar. You know Shantikar, he passed away recently.
Daka's son, youngest son, chubby fellow, fat, and he was very fond of eating. And then stomach was always,
Unruly.
When did you begin singing?
singing, that was, I don't quite remember, Narad.
Can I just
Yeah, sure.
interpose a little? Even as a child, in our place, when she used to sing, her grandmother had given her the name Bulbul, that is nightingale.
Uh-huh.
So her singing has been part of her life since I think the day she gave her first cry under the sun.
And you studied Tagore's songs or Dilip Kumar Roy?
Not separately. I think whatever Shahnadi taught, it wasn't very systematic.
Tell us about your teaching, Priti, and how you began. Of course, we know from the last interview about your painting, but what about your teaching?
I think I'd mentioned it before, that even while I was, when I was in the higher course, I'd joined my teacher, Sanjivanda, and after I finished my higher course, he suggested that why don't you tell mother that you'd like to take up teaching and at the same time continue painting. So I wrote a letter to the mother because for every step we took in life, we always referred to her. And mother sent word through Pavitrada, yes, she can continue painting, that will bring her closer to me, but she should never leave teaching. So
And what were you teaching?
I was given French, English, and if I'm not mistaken, history.
What age group did you teach?
I had Shantikar also.
Shantikar, Dayaka's son.
They were 9-year-old, I think.
Ah,
Good
And-
children.
and now? What are you doing now?
Now I'm teaching at secondary level before they move on to knowledge, that is equivalent to E6.
Mhm. Oh,
Yes.
just before. Can you share some remembrances, special remembrances of mother at darshans or
Me?
just both of you? Both of you. Certain
I
things.
mean, we were very free with the mother, you know. Whenever we composed any singing, any drama or any program, we used to always show her. Sorry. We used to always perform it in the playground so that she could see and the others also could enjoy. That is how we started singing and dancing in front of the mother in the playground. That was a good experience.
You saw Sri Aurobindo?
Oh yes, so many times. 4
Yes.
times a year.
12 times.
Huh?
Total
saw-
of 12 times.
We came in 47 February, so up to 1960.
I've often been told by others how they approached him. Temi, for example, told me that she got to the door and his eyes just came like that to her. She said, I don't know how I got through. I don't remember anything else except his eyes. What do you remember when you went to him? How did he look?
I have absolutely a blank memory. That's the worst thing. That's the worst tragedy in my life. I just don't remember him.
Do you?
But do you
Yes.
remember he had a golden body?
No, nothing.
Golden body, no. He was absolutely like a, what do you say, mountain. Huge mountain. White, absolutely white. And then very impressive. Wonderful, wonderful. Just simply wonderful. All fair and with the, I don't remember the beard and all that, but we could feel the massive,
Peace.
what do you say?
Peace.
Huh?
Peace.
Massive
Peace.
peace. Absolutely white, dazzling white. Oh, it was really, still I remember. Oh God, what we have missed. Bare body. Really, absolutely, কি বলে সন্ন্যাসী, sannyasi, you know,
Rishi.
rishi. clad up all in white, and huge, massive. Oh, still can't forget.
So you-
Narad still can't forget.
You mentioned that you sang with mother, for mother. Amita has told me many stories how mother would teach her acting and elocution.
Right.
Did mother teach you music or dance?
No, she didn't teach us, but we used to dance and then sing in front of mother whatever we felt and we liked. There was no bar. Everything was free. Everything was free.
In fact, Anuben, I'm sorry to disclose this, Anuben initially wouldn't give her any role on the 1st of December, in spite of her dancing so well. So then my auntie hit upon an idea. She went and, I think she went and told mother that I'd like to give a performance in front of you. So I think Minidi sang for her Tagore's song, and with that music she danced in front of mother. And then naturally everybody was impressed by her gracefulness. And then she got the plum roll on the 1st of December next year. She was the Queen Mother. She was the mother to Chandra, who played, I think, Swan Lake. In the Swan Lake, she's the prince. She was the prince, and she acted as the mother.
Queen Mother.
Queen mother.
Very interesting. Narad, it was very interesting. Beautiful. Swan Lake, no?
I'd like to ask you a bit about your teachers. Your remembrances of, for example, of Nalini or of Pavitra.
Oh, they were rather distant. I wasn't very close to Nolinida. Pavitrada we looked up to as a, how should I say, a towering figure who used to stoop down because we were so small and he was so tall. He'd just stoop over and then ask us questions. But I was very, very close to Niruddha. I was very close to Temiben. Actually, Niruddha molded my, my
Life.
style of talking, style of writing, because he wasn't very much in favor with the English we wrote. We wrote the Indian English with a lot of, flowery language, lots of images. So one day after correcting the notebook, he said, I have a lot to talk to you. You come and meet me in my room. So I went to meet him in the ashram, and there I burst out crying. How old was I? 18, 19. So he was absolutely nonplussed what to do with a girl who's crying. So then he explained to me, you see, this is not the way to write good English. And both he and Temiben, they really chiseled my language. And yes, earlier than that we had Paru Patil,
Yes.
and we used to just hero worship her. I think that was her first year when she became a teacher. And we used to just, worship the spot or the way she had passed.
Oh,
And we really had fallen in love with her. And she was very instrumental in, initiating us, at least me, in writing good English. Then, later on, it was both these giant figures in my life. Niruddha and Temiven.
But
The love for the language, the way to express oneself beautifully, the way to express oneself in a balanced way, like the English. That's what he instilled, and they, both of them instilled. And Temiven naturally, the love for the language, the poetry.
can you tell us a little bit about Temi's classes? She taught Savitri for many years, did she not?
Not in our class. We were doing more or less
Poetry, no?
poetry, English poetry, the 18th century, 19th century poets, Keats, Shelley, Browning, Tennyson. And later on, when she took the higher course level, we were doing Shakespearean plays. So we had done Macbeth. Oh, I fell in love with Macbeth, doing Macbeth with her. It's one of the shorter plays, but so compact. So, and she, she'd read the play. We didn't participate. We didn't read. She read, and then, she brought out all the nuances, all the images of the language. Then we read King Lear. Then these two were the main ones we did. I don't think we did Hamlet. Later on we did some of these plays by the Greek tragedians. I think we did, not Antigone, which was the other one, by Sophocles, the first one, Oedipus Rex.
Mm-hmm.
So these were some of the plays we did with her. And in the higher course, Prithvinda joined us. I think it was after the higher course, after the 3 years were over. She just gave us the option, would you like to continue? So we joined. And then Prithvinda was amongst us, and he was years older, senior to us. And he was a well-read man, with all the background of the English and the Greek literature. So those classes, at least that year, wasn't that interesting because it just went above the head.
And Smriti, your remembrances of the elder Ashramites, who were you close to?
Shanadi.
Sahanadi, singing. She was a wonderful teacher. Wonderful. What emotions. And Dilip Das songs. They were
You sang with Dilip Da also, say that.
Really?
Yeah. Just to go to his house.
Called chorus. But it was really worth enjoying.
Tell me a little bit more about Sahana.
Sahana, she was a very good teacher. We used to learn singing on Sundays because there was no free time in the daytime because we used to have break
In the week.
in the week. So on Sundays in the morning she used to teach us all Bengali songs. And then not only Bengali songs but with dancing movements. It was really interesting, fun, really fun.
And songs composed by her sister. What spiritual
Aruna
experience.
Aruna Devi. She was
And she had set to music those songs. Oh, Narad, what soul-stirring songs they are. She has recorded some of them. You don't understand Bengali, or I could have passed them on to you.
Could you sing just a little bit of one of them? Of one of those songs for us?
Jaha cheyechen, বলতে পারিস।
যাহা চেয়েছিল
তারি বিনিময়ে জামারে দিলে হায় সবে কি ভুলিব সবে কি ভুলিব ওই টুকু শুধু না পাওয়ার কথা না যাহা চেয়েছিল তারি বিনিময়ে জামারে দিলে
Could you give us just a rough translation?
বলতে পারবি ট্রান্সলেশনটা? Whatever I had asked for you, whatever you have given me,
সবই কি ভুলিব
shall I forget all that you have given me, and in return, what have I given you? Shanadi was so impressed by her singing and her, the emotional quality of her singing that she had said, she had volunteered, you come to me every day, I'm going to give all that I have to you. She never bothered. No, I have no time, my group is more important to me. So,
But the voice is still beautiful.
without practice.
Yes.
no practice Narad, I like to shout and sing but that is my singing.
But you do it in home choir. Very nicely. So tell us more about your teachers. Who else were you close to in those early days when you were a young child? Or a teenager?
I don't remember anything about it.
You knew Arindam Basu?
No, I was never his
You,
student.
no.
Neither
And
Amal Kiran. Amal Kiran had
Amal
classic-
Kiran?
No, I never had.
Uh-huh.
Had him means just poetry, a bit of poetry, that's all. Nothing much.
So who was your favorite
Shishida.
teacher?
The favorite
Ah.
teacher, Shishida was our headmaster, school.
Yeah.
He was very fond of me.
Oh,
Kuku kuku bolbe.
Cuckoo is an endearing term for, the little girls in the family.
Kuku
I see.
in Bengali.
Mhm.
And he used to address her as such.
Do you recall Purani?
Purani ji?
Ah, he was very vitalistic. Oh, beautiful. What speeches, what talks he used to give. Wonderful. Narad, wonderful.
Very dynamic.
Very dynamic. And you could feel, his vibrations. Wonderful.
He wasn't very, we were not very close, but he was very fond of the children. So whenever we used to go to him, it was always with something. All the old elderly ashramites had that, that love, innate love for children. So he used to look us over the specs. Amritoda. Oh,
Yes, Amrita.
man of sweetness. Amritoda Kata.
Amritada, he is another gentleman.
And-
Oh my God, so loving and affectionate. If you have any difficulties, any moment of sorrow, we used to go to him and confide in him what our difficulties were. And he used to listen so quietly and patiently. Oh my God, Narad. He was mother, father, everything for us. Everything for us.
And wonderful sense of humor. You have any remembrance?
Not directly with us, but do you remember Janina, the painter?
Yeah.
So there was some problem with her passport. She wasn't, the visa, she wasn't getting. So poor thing, she goes to Amritada and confides in him. You see, they are not getting me the passport. Only if I can get married to an Indian, then only they'll allow me to stay on. So he quit. Then let us get married.
I never heard that one before.
I think you could omit that.
I've heard many of them though from Amrita.
But this
That was wonderful. That sense of humor.
Sense of humor.
Yes. I knew him only a little, but I have a
Oh
sweet
my.
letter from him that I treasure.
Wonderful man. Wonderful. Just wonderful.
You went to him also.
Oh yes. We used to run whenever we were in difficulty or there was some controversy at home. Just run to him and confess whatever we had to say.
Then he used to guide you.
Huh?
Problems, if you had, he used to guide you.
Ah, yes. And then he was also very loving man.
full of sweetness, really Amrita.
We really still we miss him. Fatherly figure, motherly figure, all that.
Now,
He is a chubby man, like Ganapati.
Both of them were invited on our birthdays, my grandmother used to prepare something. And both Nolinida and Amritada, they relished, good food. In our first house, Muttumari Amma Koi, both of them would come, dressed as Bengali babus and relish
Dhoti,
the food.
Punjabi, with a shawl. But wonderful, Nalinida was thin, lean and tall. Amritada was absolutely Ganapati.
tell me
They're
about...
just like two brothers.
Oh, really?
Really,
They were
like two
that
brothers.
close, huh?
And Nolinida used to at times pull him up. Amrito, you have to take care of your health. What are you doing? You're working so late. And he used to take the chiding quietly.
Wonderful.
They're
Baba.
just
Both-
like brothers.
Just like two brothers. Take care of each other. Oh,
And what about Jugal and Kirit? We don't... I've heard that Jugal could quote any passage from any writing of Sri Aurobindo. Extraordinary.
wonderful, wonderful.
I wasn't very close to him. In fact, I don't know, I had a very unpleasant memories about him. He used to quite rude at times. I don't know why. But then later on, when he saw that I was painting and people were really appreciating, then he softened. That was later on in his years, but I was never close to him. Kirit Bhai also, he took our philosophy class, but that was that. Not as, we had Parudi, Nirodha, Temiben. That was enough for us.
Yes, yes.
They molded our lives.
Timiban had the greatest love for Parvati. Huh? She would tell me all about her.
What a wonderful
She was the head of the school for a while?
Yes, yes. She was the registrar.
Registrar, yeah. The ashram in those early days didn't have any vehicles, motorcycles, cars, hardly anything.
No.
Tell us about the atmosphere then. What was it like?
Well, like an ashram, Narad.
Uh-huh.
So quiet, so peaceful, so full of gentleness all around. When there's the absence of all this noise, naturally, you have the gentleness pervading the atmosphere.
Affinity for each other, you know, love for each other. Absolutely like one family, you know. Elder brother, elder sister. Very homely atmosphere. Very homely atmosphere.
I think it was all due to mother. She was so easily accessible when she was still moving in the, coming to the playground. That was after Shobinda left his body. So she was so easily accessible. She would be, after her tennis, she would come and walk in the playground. And we'd just run up to her and,
All complaints.
spill out anything.
I see.
So, and I used to love dancing as a child.
Oh.
And so one day, without their knowledge of my family, I just pulled out an old sari and then I wrapped it around me and I presented a dance to mother. So all those, our school had it was in the, our old school was in the playground. Now where the gymnasium stands, the bigger gymnasium, there was almost like a tunnel. So mother would traverse that and then there would be an open courtyard. And as children we'd stand there and she would go on distributing groundnuts. So that day she just, I just wrapped a sari around me, presented a dance, then pulled up the sari, put it as a bundle under my arm and that was it. So I don't know on what occasion, because we had presented many dances in front of mother. And Shuprabhati's sister, Sumitra, said that mother had said, "Elle danse bien." Nada, there were ample, what to say, instances when we used to just practice and then tell mother, we have a dance to perform in front of you. And that one instance when Tarini, Parvati's sister,
Younger sister.
We had grown up together. So both of us were fond of dances, So
Shall I give you a chair?
one day we went and told mother that, Mother, we prepared a dance and we'd like to offer to you. And she used to, go round the playground. She used to walk, mother, and Amyoda would carry a basin full of groundnuts.
John the
No. And every group stood in its, age-wise. First there was the green group, then the B group, then there was the C group, no D group at that time, then the blue group. So after every group, we went and stood and said, "Please, mother, please, mother." And mother just waved us off very gently. "Look, my children, I've no time." Finally, she went to what is now the captain's room, but that was a retiring room. She went and stood there. Again we pressed our plea, "Mother, please, mother, please, mother." Finally she gave in. And the dance was a horrible fiasco. But both Tarini and I, even to this day we go on laughing over that incident. "Please, mother, please, mother."
It was really wonderful time with mother. Oh,
And the way we used to now on high thoughts, how it used to tire her. Every darshan there would be a program, and mother would sit in the chair for hours together watching different programs. And
Arvind,
you've
can
heard
you
spoken
share
of Kameshwada.
Mm.
Kameshwada was another. He loved to dance. So one day we had a program where he
He's
had
an elderly person, huh? He was responsible of our domestic apartments.
a domestic, what do you say, service,
Mm.
the servants, the wages, etc. So he agreed to dance. He wanted to dance.
Ah.
So
He was
Gauri-
very fond of dancing.
so,
An old person, huh? Not
Elderly.
young, old.
so he said, I'm going to be the snake charmer. So with the bare body and with a turban round his head and rudraksha, that beads of rudraksha. And he made an impressive figure, and both Jamuna and what's her
Selvi.
name? No, Jamuna and Gauri. So they had coached him, and he came with that basket containing the serpents, and he started playing on his flute. He made a very impressive figure, and everyone enjoyed it. And then I think he also danced as Shiva
Ah.
in the playground.
Very interesting moments we had, Narad.
And very artistic.
Yes.
Very artistic. I
Very
mean,
artistic.
music and dance. What about
There was
folk?
no music as such, but
Of course, music. You have pictures in the bulletin, Shahnadi having the whole lot of you in front of the mother on the harmonium,
Ah.
and mother listening to you. Once what happened, Dilipda had taught them, I think, a French song, and he had put it into Italian, he had put it into Hindi, he had put it into English. I think it was La Marseillaise.
so many languages.
And then once they got started, the rains came down. Without being deterred, the whole group moved on into what was mother's. You remember, no, Narad? Mother's, that huge hall where mother used to take her translation class in the playground. Next to her retiring room,
Okay.
next to her
Hmm.
interview room, that big hall. So the whole group moved in there. Mother also joined, and she enjoyed immensely, And he was very, very enthusiastic. No, he carried that enthusiasm, and as he went on to different languages, the whole audience also, started participating, and mother was she was enjoying to her heart's content.
This is mother. Oh, how she enjoyed everything that we did. Everything we did in the. Oh,
Did you write any poetry?
No.
No.
We did in the women's class, but
Ah.
that's not worth the name.
Okay. So dance,
Music.
music, and painting. My goodness.
So did you sing, Priti?
Lots.
And you can give us one little.
No.
No. Okay. We'll leave it to the singer here. Okay.
Then after she used to finish with after the concentration,
sure.
she would come to the playground guest house where we were all cooped in or penned, so that we wouldn't disturb the elderly people there. So she would come and give us groundnuts here. And then if it happened to be anybody's birthday, so that the person would be not hauled up, she would go and stand close to mother, and then the captains would say, Bon feta, so and so. And then we would say, Victoire la douce mère. And then mother would give us a small gift. Once I remember I got a picture book which you had to add water and the colors would come up.
Ah, yes.
Magic book or something.
Birthdays were very special, huh?
Yes. And I think it was one of our captain's birthday, Usha Ben. Usha. And along with her, there was a boy called Bhavin, there was Sudhanand, and there was a third person. So we had made a huge collection of gifts, made a big packet, and then it was left in front of the mother. And mother, as usual, you've seen in the pictures, no? She used to sit in the chair, low chair, and she used to give us dictation or take poetry class or read out stories. I'll come to that later. So we had all sat in a circle and watching what gifts they had received. And there was one packet specially, it was a huge packet. So mother opened the first wrap, then the second wrap, the third wrap, and then finally there was nothing in it. And this...
Arvind, Bhoshana.
You'll be comfortable, Arvind. And then when we were in Pavita's class, Pavita thought our French was very poor. So she spoke to mother and she selected, I think, 4 of us. Tarulata, Kokila, Anup and I. We got the permission to join mother's class. She was already taking some of the green group children, and we were absolutely the youngest, and we were really like feeble chickens, in the midst of all these so-called elderly. Not elderly, they were perhaps senior to us by 1 or 2 years, but even Bharti was there. Bharti, Usha. So, and they used to boss over us. So, not Bharti, but Usha I remember. Usha, Jyoti. So, then we had 3 days. We had on Sundays we had dictation, Tuesdays we had poetry, and Fridays she used to read out stories to us.
In playground?
No, in that
room?
Not room.
The hall?
Guest house.
The guest. Oh.
Courtyard.
Courtyard. The courtyard is still there, Narad.
Mm-hmm.
So, where
But
Parul
the children
stays.
do seesaw and all that.
Yes.
Bhatti stays, Parul stays.
Yes,
now.
I know where.
Yeah. So in that open courtyard, Tara is to bring the chair, install it, and mother is to sit there. Oh, we thought those days would never end and we'd never grow up. So, dictation, mother is to write down a passage in a notebook, and Tara is to show it to us freely, and then we would take it down, learn it by heart, and when mother dictated the passage, we'd write it down. Just imagine. In spite of that, we did so many mistakes. And mother painstakingly in that light should correct every word. And if we came out with a faultless dictation, she would write très bien, sans faute. Then on...
Sans faute means without mistakes.
And then we had the poetry class where again she used to select passages from her own books, and children's books. And she would give it to Tara. Tara would copy it down in a notebook. And again we would copy them down and learn it and then recite it in front of mother. Then mother said, okay, we'll have not a competition, but still I'll see how well you recite. So she had a notebook, and depending on how well we recited without faultlessly, she used to give us points. And if we managed to get 10 points, we used to get a prize. And the prize was either mother's photo signed by her, or she would give us all this was Tara's doing. She would give us a small chit pad with mother's photo on it and again signed by mother. And then mother said, the one who scores 100 points first will get a special prize. So Subhash and I managed to get 100 points, and we were given in an envelope Shobindo's writings on the first handmade papers that were done in the ashram. So, and there was Surendra, who could never learn by heart.
You know Surendra?
And mother would coax the words out of him. She would formulate the words. Surendra was just blank. And then mother would complete the sentence for him. And we would have fun. Mother coaxing the words out of him and he stammering and trying to get the words but couldn't.
They're all children, you know, very small kids.
So we were that high, not this.
No, whatever it is, but they were all children.
We were, say, 10, 11 at
10, 11.
And then there was,
You are comfortable, Nara?
or you'd like to sit in that chair.
No,
Nara?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Then Tadini. One day she got stuck. And she was sitting there and looking at mother, and mother trying to again help her. While she sat there, mother did her sketch in a notebook. And Fridays she used to recount her stories from books, you know. They
Masako Kari.
she used to
What was
read
that?
us.
Masako Kari, it is in French.
I'll come to that. There were first she began with tales from China, Contes et Légendes. Those books are still there. Contes et Légendes from Japan. She had some very fine stories from Japanese tales and Chinese, then Roman, and yes, and she had this a very favorite story book of hers, stories from African stories. And there was one, a rabbit, his name was Masako Kari. And the story went this way that this Masako Kari was sent as an emissary to go and put his plea in front of the king who lived in the next village. So Masako Kari set out with a
Masako Kari was a rabbit.
And he had a satchel round him and he set out. He had to cross a forest. And there was a tiger. No, first there was an elephant. And he said, I'm going to eat you up. Masako Kari said, wait, I have to go and meet the king. You wait for me. He said, all right, you put me in your bag. So I think he turned himself into a pea. Then further on, there was a tiger. And he roared, I'm going to eat you up. Have a fine lunch. Masako Kari said, just wait. I'll go and visit the king, then you can do whatever you like with me. So I think the tiger turned himself into a stick and Masako Kari put him in the satchel. Then came the lion. So all the three animals, they turned themselves into small things and Masako Kari went to the king. The moment the king saw the rabbit, his mouth started watering. And he had a pot, hot water steaming, because he was planning to make a stew out of Masako Kari. So then after he had given the plea, then he said, I'm going to eat you up now, you're my prisoner. So Masako Kari just shook his satchel out came the tiger, out came the elephant, and out came the lion. And they created havoc, they ate up people, they trampled on the people. In the meantime, Masako Kari gave the slip and went back to his village.
You remember it so clearly.
Yes.
Mother must have acted all the
Yes,
characters.
Narad, I think I got influenced by her how to act, and I thought when I become a teacher, I'm going to do it in the way she does it. You know, when it was the lion or the tiger in a gruff voice, and when Masako Kari is pleading his case, it's in a small voice. Mother herself was a very good actress. She did it so well, and I remember clearly, you know, it was raining. So again, we had shifted to that hall where Mother used to take her translation class. And so we had all collected round her. There were the benches, and there she was reading out, you know, rolling her eyes big, and that gruff voice, and the timid voice, and the voice of the rabbit. So
Wonderful time. Narad, it was really wonderful. We can't forget those days. Oh, and how she used to act. Oh, Baba. Wonderful.
And she was so clever. Whenever you wanted, suppose when she used to distribute, you know, sweets near the map of India, that's where she used to sit, and in the evening she used to give us sweets. So if you had anything confidential, and you'd speak very softly to Mother, and she'd come out with a loud and finish. The whole playground would hear whatever you had to confide. So, and there were times when, you know, when you spoke in a normal voice, and Mother heard you very clearly.
The way she used to say, ah, best finished. Your hands and everything has gone cold. She get so frightened. Oh,
And then we had certain mischievous boys in our midst. Just to go on hiding, you know, our shoes and slippers, and it was reported to Mother. So this boy, Mother had just given him groundnuts, and his mouth was full of that, chewing the groundnuts. So Mother just took him by the ear and twisted it, and the mouth fell open just like a, how should I say, like a cavern, you know, and all the groundnuts very visible there. What have you done with the slippers? So he said, I don't know, Mother. There were three of them, Baba Bhai, Kanu, and what's his name? Tublu.
Oh,
Baba Bhai was terror.
very
My
mischievous,
God.
very mischievous.
And he frisked like monkey, and he was always pinching us and doing things in a very nasty way, you know. So we used to just detest him. But now he's become hotelier, and he's got a hotel opposite the library. A respectable person.
Then what did the mother say? Where are the slippers?
Ah.
She asked him then.
Yes, and somehow they were retrieved from one of the waste bins, you know, that hidden it so that after the group they could take it.
Mother gave any punishment or?
No, that was enough.
Yes.
One of them got a
Eight
sound
times.
slap.
Hmm.
One of them got a sound slap. I forget which of these trio.
Baba,
No, I think it was Tublu.
So then they stopped hiding slippers.
That was a sound punishment.
So mother never liked those kind of.
No.
we have had a wonderful, wonderful time together. And I thank you both